Episode 189 of the Wilderness Podcast is brought to you by our supporters. If you'd like to support the show, head on over to patreon.com/thewilderness podcast. So I want to welcome Aiden Bevan, Alex Verdicizzi, and Colorize. Thank you guys so much for signing up to the Patreon this week. I really appreciate the support. So this week's shout out is given to Mr. Burt Macklin himself. And, of course, to all of our top-tier supporters, Gentinu, Dreadful Monkeys, Szechuan, Mallard, Twisted Soul, Jay Blaz, Z-Space, and Strosity. Thank you guys so much for the support. If Patreon's not your thing, head on over to buymeacoffee.com/dills, where you can make a one-time donation. So thank you to What's the Matter and MFU for keeping me caffeinated this week. All right, let's get on into the episode. Welcome to episode 189 of the Wilderness Podcast. I'm your host, Dills, and joining me today is Heartless.
Hey, Dills, how are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. There is a lot to talk about. Starting with, they released. Well, they've been discussing and kind of iterating the Tombs of Amascut, the raid rewards. They also kind of gave more information on when we can expect that raid to drop, which was later than what people were thinking. So we can talk about that. And of course, they have dropped some more info about Nex, basically an expansion to God Wars, the Zeros boss there. So we got the rewards that they actually plan on coming out. They're pretty cool. Some of it we did talk about, and I think we got some of it right, not all of it. And of course, they talked about when we can expect that as well. And what everyone loves to hear is Leagues 3 has been delayed. It is being pushed back until 2022.
Yeah.
That was supposed to launch next week. So that's not happening.
No, well, yeah, we'll get into it.
Yeah, we'll get into it. And of course, we Mod Sween, I think today his last day. It was his last stream.
I believe
Mod
so.
Sween, yeah, he's been around with the team for a while now, and he unfortunately resigned.
It's like 7 or 8 years. Yeah. Sad.
Yes, that's been pretty crazy. So yeah, we got a whole whack of stuff to talk about. Probably more. I'm sure we're missing stuff, but that's okay. Let's kick it right off, though. My week's been pretty shitty, man. We have a whole whack of stuff backed up. We were planning on recording on the podcast earlier this week, and I had some tragic news about my little dog, and I had to put her down earlier this week, and it was really, really fucking hard.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, brother.
Yeah, I was like trying to think like if this was something to even bring up, but it's like really fucked my whole week up. It was crazy, dude. I had to. She just wasn't eating a whole bunch, and last week, so I brought her into the vet, and I just thought she had like the cold or something, and then the doctor came in and was basically like, nah, like she's doing pretty bad, like she pretty much should be put down this week. So then 12 hours later, we're back at the vets doing it. So it was like, it's pretty crazy.
It's quite a horrible experience to have to go through.
Yeah, it was super. It was messed up. Like, it was crazy. I like went back to the car, and I after hearing the news, and my girlfriend was sitting there, and I was like so distraught. I like opened up the door and I smashed my face and I cut open my like forehead. So I have this crazy gash, and it just started pouring blood. Oh
Damn.
Man, it was hectic. But here we are Thursday. So yeah, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday were really friggin' hard days. But Thursday, it's things get a little bit easier as time goes on. But it's crazy. I didn't expect it to be so hard. Like, you kind of know these things are going to happen when you have a dog. I got her when she was like 8 years old, so I knew she was already fairly old. So she lived to be about 14 and a half, which is pretty long. And we had a good last day together and stuff. But yeah, it was tough. And I thought I was gonna, you know what? I thought I was more equipped to it. Like when I was a kid, my mom died, and when I was a teenager, I was living with my grandparents. My grandma passed away when I was living with her too.
Oh, Dills, man.
Oh, but I thought, I was like, you know what? I've been through this before. We'll get through it. And man, it hit so differently. I was not expecting it. So not didn't want to. Sorry to start the podcast on such like
It's
a
okay.
downer
It's
note,
okay.
but
Hey,
you know
it's
what?
just, you gotta get your feelings out. It's important.
Yeah. It's just been an off week, and this episode might be a little bit off. So
I feel for you, Dills. My cat was 19. She was 19, so albeit she was an old gal, and she died. We had to put her down last year. It was like my family cat, so kind of grew up with her. It wasn't an easy experience. I'll never forget it. But
yeah, it's insane. These little pets of ours, how much like impact. It's crazy. So anyone out there with your dogs, give them an extra hug for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we had a nice dog rally come through the Discord. Love to see that. Everyone dropping pics
lots of
the
support and
doggos.
stuff. And
hey, man, well, we're all with you if you ever need someone to talk to.
Yeah, and I've seen other people come in the Discord and some other tragic event they need. It's always nice to know you got like a community of like online people. You don't even half the time I don't even know people's real names, but it's like that doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It's the support's there, and you can feel the love come through.
Oh, dude, the people I've met in the Discord and that I play RuneScape with are consider my closest friends, basically. I keep in touch with some people in real life, but I talk to these people every single day. Yeah. They know pretty much everything about me, so.
Yeah, no, totally. I'll be talk to my girlfriend about something, and I'll just throw like
some online name.
She'll think it's weird. Like, it's weird that you're just like casually me and like Heartless are going to record today. And it's like, what's his real name? And you're like, I know it. And then you're like, but like Heartless is so much more natural to us. And
exactly. Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? I wonder if for like real life meetups, it's a little odd. I met some of my friends online a couple of years from League a couple of years ago. I went to PAX with them. Oh, that's and it was a little strange calling them their like in-game names and stuff. Yeah, but we made it work.
Yeah, that's the age of, I don't know, online gaming. But anyway, okay, we got that all out of the way. I was worried I was going to tear up a little bit, but we got through.
Hey, man, it's all good. It's don't worry about it.
Yeah. Anywho, so that's been. I have not done much on RuneScape. What have you been up to?
You haven't played any RuneScape, hey?
No, I've been like AFKing a lot while I just like watch YouTube and stuff.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm in the Amethyst mines, the Amethyst prison. So
you just want to chill out when life is tough. I had a tough week. Nothing compared to yours emotionally, but I had a busy week. It was parent teacher interviews this week, which is fun. It's just a long day. You're like at work at I get there like 7. Just 7:30, 8 o'clock, and then you're there until like 7:30, 8 o'clock after working a full day. It's a long one.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
But we got through them. It wasn't so bad. I only had like 15 of them.
You guys get pizza or something?
Yeah, they order like pizza for the staff. Nice. It was okay. I had a little break. I had like a half an hour window, so I sent a run down to Hortons and picked up a coffee so I could refuel. You know how it is.
Yeah,
that was pretty helpful. Besides that, I haven't got to play much RuneScape. Last weekend, I got to send 3 Inferno runs because man, they take like 2-3 hours each.
Right, so, that's a lot.
It's a lot of time. So basically, my entire weekend was taken up. Well, one of the days I ended up being quite busy. My partner and I, Ashley, we ordered a couch.
I got a couch this weekend too. That's cool.
We ordered it 10 months ago.
Oh,
no
okay.
joke.
True.
And it finally showed up. She wanted it like, I don't know. She didn't like the color that was in the store. So she ordered a different one. And then sure enough, it comes 10 months later.
Wow.
It's comfy. So that was my Saturday. And then Sunday I sent a couple runs.
Not bad. What kind of couch you get? Do you get a sectional? You're a sectional person?
I love sectionals personally.
Yeah, same.
But Ashley she's not into that. She has her own style. This one's definitely, it's a good looking couch. It's pretty comfortable as well. It's starting to get used to it. It's quite nice.
Not
wouldn't have been what I would have picked, but it's a good couch. I can't complain. I kind of just let her do the aesthetic of the house. It looks good.
That's funny. I do the same thing. Like as long as the couch is comfortable.
Yeah.
I don't care if it has flowers on it. I don't care what it looks like.
That's what I told her. I said as long as it's comfy and I could lie down in it, then I'm good.
Yeah.
And those 2 boxes are checked, so I'm not worried.
Nice.
And she's happy with it, so no problems there. Yeah, RuneScape was okay. I just really just kind of chilled after the Zuck attempts. I didn't really do much this week. The runs went really well. I made it to triple Jads for the first 2 runs. and I died. I got meleeed by Jad trying to run under him. That was a disappointing death. Yeah, he hit me for like a 40 because I was trying to heal up and I wasn't quite comfortable with it, so I got bopped. And then the second time I killed all 3 Jads. No, sorry, I think I died on the last Jad. I just missed a flick. It was fucking embarrassing.
Oh, no.
But both times I had made it to triple Jads with like 7 or 8 brews. So the waves are going a lot better. So,
that's good.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of time now. Like one, and then I made it to Zuck on the third run. And cool. I beat Jad at Zuck too. It wasn't clean, but yeah, I mean, I got there. I think I tanked a hit at double Jads, and then I tick 8 one of the attacks at Zuck because I was slow changing prayers.
Oh, wow.
And then I ended up dying. I can't remember. I think I actually tried to so Poplo was coaching me, and I was like talking to him. I was like, okay, should I brew? Should I restore? And he was like, no, you're fine. And then I went down to my restore in the corner and I tried to decant it. And it stalled my movement, right? Because I wasn't keeping up with the shield, and I took a 99 from Zuck. That was so funny. I was pretty disappointed, but whatever.
It's gotta be tough. Like a 3-hour run. That's
yeah. I mean, we stalled. I imagine when I get the cape, it's probably going to be like a 2:45 is my guess. So it takes me about 2 hours to clear the waves, and then usually I take a little.
Do you know what the fastest run is?
Yeah, you can do sub hours for sure. I think the fastest is probably like, I don't know the exact time, but my guess is like in the 50s.
See if I can find it. For
like a first time cape, like 90 minutes is like you're a really good player, and you can like, that's an off task, like, 20 KC kind of thing. You can smash through the waves. You're one tick flicking rigger. On task, I think you can get sub hours because the Grandmaster time I think is 65 minutes. But yeah, most people like Karma got his cape this week. His was like 2 hours and 11 minutes with a twisted bow. Remember, I don't have a twisted bow, so everything is slower.
Right. I'm looking up now. This is just off Reddit, but someone got almost a 10-hour Inferno run. Like you have to. How do you get a 10-hour Inferno run that you do complete?
Because you can like log out of the waves. That's the people like doing with like the Din's bulwark that are like, one guy took 16 hours or something to do it.
Jesus, that's
he'd just like do a wave and he'd sit behind the tower while he was working for like an hour, regenerating his health and like SGS specking and stuff. That's how you do it.
True. Okay.
So you can just sit behind the tower forever and it still ticks down the timer.
That's funny.
So my guess is it's going to be like close to 3 hours when I do get a KC, just because of how slow I like to take things.
Yeah.
But, we'll send a few more attempts this weekend, and hopefully I can get to Zuck again and have a good chance at it. But we'll see. It's fucking nerve-wracking, man, when you get there. It's the hardest thing I've ever done, for sure.
Is like, what's the feeling like when you get to Zuck?
Honestly, Zuck isn't... When I was at Triple Jads the other night, my hands were like wet when I was doing it. I was so nervous because I died to them the previous 2 times. And I was just so scared. I do quite well at the 3, but then as soon as it gets down to 2, I don't know, I just start to like panic. But it's just, I don't know. It's going okay. I'm improving, and Zuck doesn't feel so bad because it's quite a surgical fight. Like all the timings are there. You just have to do the things and not make any mistakes.
So Triple Jads, is that right before Zuck?
Yeah, right before.
Yeah, okay. Damn.
Yeah, so last time I made it to Zuck with like 6 brews, so I had like more than enough supplies. It's just about getting the fight down.
Yeah,
so I think a couple more attempts to get me a little bit more comfortable. Hopefully I can make it. I just beat Jad last time, so hopefully I can make it to healers, and then I might die on that attempt, and then the one after maybe I'll get it, but we'll see. We're getting closer. I'm definitely improving at the waves, so I just really need to carve out the time. It's so just very time consuming is all.
Yeah, that's crazy. Because when I was thinking about it, I was like, oh, when I go for my Inferno, I can probably do one a day, and then eventually, after 2 weeks or so, you'll get it. But 3 hours.
It's not going to be that for everyone. Some people are quicker.
True. But even still, like having 2 hours just for that Inferno, like that's all. That's like
tough.
Like your evening. Tough. That can be your evening after work. Yeah.
So I would consider myself to be in the lava prison right now because I really haven't done much else. So I can really see why people struggle with it mentally, because of just the time commitment. So like the feeling I had after I had spent 2 hours and I used 1 dose of brew on the waves. I got meleeed by Jad.
Oof.
After like killing everything. I was just like deflated. I was like, how can I even keep doing this? Like, it's such bullshit. Like, I just spent like 2 hours and then another 20 minutes getting through Jads and triple Jads and like waiting and like, making sure my hands were warm and ready to go. And I just get bopped. It's like, that's just a stupid mistake. I rallied. We're good now.
It's a strange. It's got to be a strange challenge. It's almost like an endurance challenge on top of anything else.
It really is. It certainly is, because like I think when I look back at it, the time invested into it is not going to be as long as something like, I don't know. I've done 100 hours of medium clues. I don't think it's going to take me 100 hours to get my cape. Probably it'll end up being something like between around maybe 50 or 60, with like all the learning time. So it's not even that. It's not even half as much. But it feels just so. It's just because each session is so long.
Yeah,
it just takes so much out of you. You're gonna be perfect for basically the entire time.
Wow.
So it can be draining. But anyways, man, we're getting there. Hopefully, in the next couple weeks, I can manage to snag one.
Yeah, soon. It sounds like you're getting close.
Yeah, dude, I'm stoked to get into this content. Though we should dive right in.
Yeah, we should. There is a ton to talk about. So let's do it. All right, so let's start off with Raids 3, the Tomb of Amascut.
The tomb, Dills.
What did I say? Tome?
You said tome. You say it every time.
Tomb.
God damn it!
It's got okay. I know how to remember. It's like Tomb Raider, right?
Tomb Raider, not Tome Raider. She's not going after books.
I always played the budget Tome Raider.
You played the budget one, yeah.
with Tom, Tom the Tomb Raider. Tomb of Amascut. Tomb of Amascut. We're getting there. We're learning English sooner or later. All right. So we've talked about the rewards before. They have done a few changes, and they added a few things really to the Missouri equipment, or Missouri. It's
pronounced. Is it pronounced Missouri? Like the like Missouri?
Missouri.
Like isn't that a state in America?
Missouri. It definitely. Yeah. Look at that. It's a little bit of like a...
I highly doubt it's pronounced like that, but let's continue.
Missouri.
Sorry, Dills. The people know. They're probably screaming at you right now, like, that's not how it's pronounced.
Okay, I don't know if I brought up before, but someone's like giving us they gave us a 4-star review, but it was super just yelling at us, get your pronunciations right.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that like a few years ago with Deegan. That's hilarious.
Oh, that's funny.
Okay, let's just call it Missouri armor. Let's do it.
Missouri. Anyways, one thing that Missouri does have is that it now has an added effect of having a 3% dodge chance on each piece of equipment when affected by low life. So, what the Missouri set is a ranged gear that gives you additional damage and accuracy for range when you're below 40 HP. Below 40% of your health.
Yeah, so this is a buff to the defensive capabilities, right?
Yeah. So they changed all the stats. We won't get into all that, but they've given it a percentage of dodge chance when affected by low life, which effectively is so each piece has an added 3% dodge chance when you're at low life, because what people are worried about is that since you're at low life and this armor doesn't have great defensive stats, is that you could just get smacked and then you're dead, which is kind of the point of it as well. But I guess they kind of added a very small chance for you to dodge all damage completely, which is kind of cool. We don't have anything like this in the game, and I know it's something to be very careful. I know other games I've played, we played League of Legends. They used to have dodge in the game, and it was broken.
Jax. Yeah, it's because you could dodge tower shots, though.
It was crazy broken, yeah. But you could have anyways.
That's because he stack his dodge timer, so he could just never get hit. You're right. It is a dangerous mechanic, but especially in like PvP and stuff like that.
Yeah, true.
But it's interesting. I mean, what did you think of the armor before?
I thought it was fine. They mentioned that there's very few unavoidable hits that hit more than 40% of your HP. Right. So as long as you're doing everything correctly, you shouldn't get one hit. Now, I guess either that's maybe not completely true, or people are worried that you have to be 100% perfect. Otherwise, you will get just like one hit, which is, I guess, also kind of sucks because that would be kind of frustrating to just make one little mistake and then you're done. So I guess they want a little bit of a wiggle room to have, like, I guess, what is it now? Almost 10% chance to get a freebie if you were to take a hit.
Yeah, so it's going to drop you to 40 health, right? So you couldn't really do Zulrah with it because Zulrah max hits a 41. You couldn't really do... I mean, there's going to be things you can do it with. I think it's going to be generally a powerful armor set, but not as widely used as maybe people would have wanted it to be.
Yeah, I guess you hope that, this new range set could be used anywhere that you could use range, but there are some places that you'll have to be a little bit more careful with. And
think about common places you use range, like Godworst Dungeon. Are you really going to bring it to Godworst Dungeon for the extra DPS? I mean, probably not, because the minions hit so hard.
True.
Health is important. I think anywhere where you want to go fast, it's going to rule. So people that are doing sweaty Zucks and so Inferno capes, people that are going for speed times at maybe Jad, just regular fight caves, things like that. It's going to be quite strong.
Yeah, and I'm sure they have what they seem to do is it'll be whatever piece of content the armor comes from. It's also very good for that same content. So I'm sure Raids 3 will make the Missouri set very useful as well.
Yeah, I think you're totally right there.
Yeah, so the dodge chance is cool. I'm cool with that. That's something new, and that's new things is always exciting.
Yeah, it's not going to be as broken as it was in League. It's a different game, but yeah, it is. I like that it has some kind of defensive capabilities that can RNG you out of damage.
Yeah,
can make for some pretty good clips.
Yeah, totally. Let's see. Then there's the Missouri Amulet, which is a amulet that will damage you until you hit 40%. HP, the 40% threshold. I believe it was on par with a glory, but it gave a lot of melee and magic bonus as well. But they have since removed all that because they want this to be strictly for range, not so much a melee or mage amulet when you're below 40.
Tribrid. So you can, you're gonna have to bring in your occult if you're switching to other gear. So a lot of raids use all three gear types, and I imagine the tombs will be the exact same thing. So it's just going to be making you bring in your torture and whatever else you want to your occult for magic, which makes sense. You probably do that anyways because they're strict upgrades, and DPS is usually king in raids. But I have a feeling there's going to be some interesting elements in the tombs. So
yeah, it's going to be sweet
to seeing them.
I have high hopes for this. Yeah, because speaking of, I guess we might as well just talk about it. They, we kind of got an idea of when it will be launched, which will be, I think it was Mod Arcane was Q2, end of basically in the summer, where we can expect to see this drop June, July.
Yeah, it's going to be in this next summer, which sucks. I was hoping it'd be January, but apparently that was never the plan.
Yeah, I 100% thought it was coming. Kind of this around the same time when Tombs of Amascut came out, which was a January release. But unfortunately it did not. So
it's kind of par for the course with Jagex, isn't it? Promising something and then under delivering.
What was it, winter 2017 with mobile?
Yeah, 2017 for sure. I mean, I don't want to be a guy that complains all the time. I'm generally quite positive, but yeah, it is a little disappointing. But I'm not surprised about the raids one as much. I think the other two are a little bit more surprising though.
So yeah, let's so there you are. Some changes to what's that?
Do we have any more changes to talk about, gear wise for the tombs?
I think one thing they changed, which we'll just mention it again. It was not the Partisan. I think they changed the whole name. I think it's the Osmum 10's Fang now. You basically you have a lower max hit with it, but it's basically you hit more consistent. So you don't hit as high, but you also don't hit as low. And it's got a more consistent output. It's supposed to be a very accurate weapon.
Cool. Yeah, I like this one.
Yeah, so that's the other one I heard they changed when I was listening in on a live stream. I'm having a blank. What was it called? Oh, it was a Kopesh. That's what it was.
A Kopesh, yeah.
Kopesh right. Changed to a Fang. So that should be pretty cool. All right, let's move on to Nex. So this is the expansion to the God Wars. It's again in RuneScape 3. It came out in 2011 or something. This is the Zeros God Wars boss. And they finally released some of the weapons that we can expect to see from it. And they're neat. So let's get right into it. So, all right. So similarly to the other God Wars boss, you'll need a 40 kill count before accessing the boss itself. And the way the rewards are going to be distributed is going to be similar to like Nightmare, where it will scale, and depending on how many players there are, and you'll also one player will become MVP, which they'll get a bonus chance at more loot, or they'll get a bigger portion of loot. So similar to Volcano and similar to Nightmare, where if you do more work, you'll get rewarded for it, which is pretty cool. So in the original Nex back in 2011, 2 armor sets were added called Virtus and Torva, and they've mentioned that they're not directly opposed to adding those 2 into the game. And they say here that Torva they think would actually be a cool addition to bring into the game, but they are not actually pulling this right now. They're kind of offering different rewards in the meantime, just to kind of see what we're thinking.
Yeah, that's the melee set, which is just better than Bandos. I imagine we'll see that in the future. I did expect to see it here. I think we talked about that last time.
Yeah.
But I do like what they did with the rewards. So
yeah, it should be cool. So the first one they have here is called the Ancient God Sword. So it's a God Sword like the others. The special attack says it'll target a single individual with double the usual accuracy. If it does hit, it deals a normal hit with 10% extra damage. In addition, an 8-cycle timer starts. If the target does not move more than 5 tiles away before the timer ends, they will be hit for 20 damage, and the attacker is healed for that same amount. It'll cost 50% energy. So something interesting. Sounds like it could almost be used as like a PvP weapon, the way it says, like, I don't know. It looks pretty neat. It seemed to me, my first thought is like, okay, so if you barrage someone, smack them with this,
Yeah, pretty good. I think the problem with God Swords as like, so basically you're saying like you spec them, then you freeze them, you keep them in the area so you can deal extra damage to them. But typically spec weapons are used to KO people, not to get extra damage off because of their high damage power. So I'm not sure about that one.
Do you have any ideas of where this would actually be like useful?
What's the extra percentage damage that it deals? Could you tell me?
Like 10%.
It deals 10% extra damage.
Yeah,
I have no idea, unless you can stack a whole bunch of them to like kill people in multi. That might be
true.
I think that might be an option if that works. But realistically, I don't know where it's going to be used. I'm not gonna lie, I can't even come up with anything. But I think their intention was to make it a PvP weapon. But I don't, originally I thought I was like, whoa, this is so strong. It's like an extra free 20 damage. But thinking more on it, like the AGS is typically used to just smash people for 70s.
Yep.
And finish them off. Whereas this weapon looks like it's going to give you more like damage in a more prolonged fight rather than KO the person. Unless I'm wrong. So this one is hard to judge for me. What do you think? Anything jumping out to you?
It definitely seems like a PvP item because it doesn't do like the healing part of it isn't as good as a Sarah sword. The damage itself doesn't seem as good as an AGS. I think where this could be good is definitely PvP. And if you can get the timing right, you could freeze them, you can spec them, and then you wait for that 20 damage that's going to come, and maybe you whip out, you bring an AGS as well, and then double hit them, and then they get a 20 damage stack on top of whatever you hit with your I don't know, Elder Maul or your G Maul or your DDS.
I think it's pretty cool. I think this one should be changed a little bit to make it. I wish there was a slightly stronger PvP KO weapon. Claws are good. They're very bad against the Din's Bulwark.
Right.
But they're good against, people that are wearing cloth or just regular things. So if you're in a regular fight, obviously they're good. I wish there was something on par with them, maybe slightly stronger than AGS. I don't think that's bad to power creep. But then again, I'm not a PKer, so
yeah. I think the tricky part is like I know that like an AGS with a G Maul, you can easily stack over 100 damage.
It's true.
So that it does feel like it feels like it's on par with the other God Swords, but I would personally have expected this to be a little bit better than the other God Swords just because this is
like a generalist weapon. It doesn't really have a specialty, does it? Like nothing is screaming to me like, oh, this is going to be good here. And I think that's part of its problem. It doesn't really have an identity.
Yeah.
And therefore might not see a lot of use in its current state, but it's hard to say with this one.
Yeah, the only thing I think is that you hit them, you wait the 8-cycle timer to count down, and then you switch to your D-claws and you spec them again while you wait for that 20 damage to stack on top of it.
Yeah, and like outside of PvP, there's a lot of monsters that you can keep in the same spot, so maybe it does become quite good in certain fights because it's giving you a little bit of healing, it's giving you the huge block of damage plus an extra 20. So it's possible. But like I said, there's so many good spec weapons out there for PVM that I think this is going to have a hard time finding a home.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see kind of where it lands. It might go the same way as the Zamorak God Sword.
Yeah, that has like literally one use.
Yeah.
And that is freezing Mutadile. And that I've never used it for anything else. Yeah. Have you?
I've never even used the Zamorak God Sword.
Yeah, it's like not even that. It's really not necessary. But like if no one's on Ancients, it's even less relevant now that you can just freeze Mutadile and still use it as water runes with that update.
Yeah, true.
It's definitely the worst God Sword by far. But it does have a cool effect. You have to admit, like freezing someone in place, you'd think that would be useful in PvP. But it turns out the utility is just not worth it.
Yeah,
typically.
It's just it is cool though. It's something that could be fun and like I don't know, God Wars if you want to. I don't even know. Not God Wars, Castle Wars if you want to keep your Venge up. I have no idea. It's cool. That's something that's definitely a fun weapon, but not super useful.
Yep.
Okay. Next is a bow. Oh, I'm going to butcher this one. I don't think I've heard them say it yet. Zerite.
It's up to you, Dills. Dills decides.
Okay, Zerite bow. So this bow is has a special effect where in multi-way areas, one additional target stood within 2 tiles of the main target you're targeting will also be hit. And there's an additional effect, which we'll talk about additional effect with another piece of equipment, which we'll talk about in a second. With the Zerite Vambraces, when worn, you'll hit an additional target. So you'll target one opponent and you'll hit 2 other targets that are nearby if they are within 2 tiles. And these additional hits do not consume. They consume 1 charge, but they do not consume any additional arrows. This requires 80 range to use. It is tradable, non-degrading bow. Fires up to dragon. There it is. There. Oh, and the Zerite bow can be recharged using Nihil shards, which are dropped by all foes in the prison, including Nex. Boom. What do you think? That sounds pretty cool.
This thing is sick. I love this weapon. I think it's so cool. It's such a cool design. Like you're hitting multiple targets, like Legolas style.
Yeah,
I really like the idea of this bow, and I think it's going to have some interesting uses. Of course, it's not going to be overpowered because we still have the crystal bow, the bow of Ferdinand, and then what's the other one called? Oh, the twisted bow. How could I forget?
Classic.
Probably because I don't have one. But yeah, the twisted bow obviously still going to be best in slot at many places, but this is going to give you some options, and I like that a lot. Anywhere where you're targeting, there's multiple minions in the same encounter. So it could have uses at Inferno because there's often like multiple stacks together. I'm not sure the radiuses and stuff, but it's possible that it's going to do a lot of chip damage in any sort of like multi AoE fight.
Yeah, so. Yeah, it'll be cool to see. And it sounds like a really fun weapon to be able to bust out. I'm blanking exactly where you could use them, but maybe Cerebos or something. Who knows? It definitely, yeah, it'll be a cool weapon to kind of bust out. Maybe Armadillo.
Probably at raids and like mass God Wars dungeon where you're gonna kill the minions. Maybe at Nex itself is probably gonna be quite good.
Yeah.
Is my guess. Having a hard time thinking of like other places where there's multiple minions that you're killing at the same time. Yeah, maybe Nilos at raids. There's some options for it. Yeah, it's a cool, really cool. It's a cool option to have for sure. I'm pretty happy with this one. Another bow though. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, we've been getting a lot of bows, eh?
Is it really what we needed? Probably not. Would have preferred to have a one-handed weapon that had this effect. That we could maybe, pair with the buckler so that thing could see a little bit of love. Because realistically, a Dragon Hunter crossbow is a stopgap weapon until you own a twisted bow, and then you never use it again. And I mean, sure, people would say use it at 4cath, but melee's just better. Get with the times. I mean, when you're a little bit more poor and you could do like a Dragon Hunter crossbow rebuild, or you're learning 4cath and it's quite useful there. Or you don't have as much money to buy a twisted bow, it's quite good at Ulm. But besides those two things, it doesn't have a lot of uses. So I would have loved to see maybe another one-handed weapon, if we were going to go ranged, added to the game. But another bow, here we go.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of bows, even from like God Wars. We have like the cross, like that's another ranged weapon. Well, whatever.
Armadillo crossbow is like genuinely useless. It has no uses besides PvP. I don't think it's useful anywhere. I've had one for like over a year now, and I've never used it.
I used to have one. What did I have it for? Oh God, maybe Armadillo. I don't know.
I use it to as my Armadillo item, the most expensive Armadillo item ever, to get across the bridge. I just keep it in my inventory at the bottom corner.
Yeah, that's right. You got to shoot the grapple.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much the only use I've had for it. But I don't know. I don't do a lot of other bosses that I don't do bosses that I've completed typically. So
true.
Maybe it does have some uses that I don't know of. Maybe when you're a lower level player, you don't have as much money, these kind of weapons are more relevant to you.
Yeah, but Armadillo Cross was still it's like 30 mil, right? It's fucking expensive.
I just don't think a ton of people do Sarah. Really, people that do Sarah have twisted bows.
True, yeah.
And besides that, not a lot of people do it, so.
But pairing with the Zerite bow is the Zerite Vambraces, which is now the new best in slot ranged glove equipment. Yeah, the age of barrow gloves is going to be behind us when this comes out. They'll still be good, obviously, but no longer will the barrow's gloves be best in slot.
Yeah, they'll still be useful for tribirding, places where you want to keep your health high. Like you're doing solo raids or you're doing, DKs or something. They're still going to be good. But yeah, these things are going to be sick and super sought after. They will be very, very expensive. This is what you want to see when you're at Nex.
Yeah, and it's something to note too. You need 80 range and 50 defense. So for the 50 defense peers out there, no, do those exist? I don't think they do. The granite peers.
Doubtful. I think it's just to be 5 more than Zerkers, which are 45 defense and half barrels gloves.
Yeah, true. Next is the Virtus armor, and I think I mentioned that they weren't going to bring Virtus. I meant Vestas, I think. So we have the Virtus mask, robe legs, and robe top, and they give a set effect bonus that gives a 3% damage increase to all ancient spells per piece worn, so a total of 9%. If all 3 pieces of the set are worn, there's additional bonuses applied. And these go for each ancient spell type. So they have smoke spells, reduce healing by 30% while the target is poisoned. Shadow spells also drain strength, range, magic, and defense, and attack. Blood spells heal up to 20% over the player's max hit points. And ice spells have a 10% additional accuracy against already frozen targets. Yeah, I don't know. they seem okay. Maybe good
Really?
for tribe, like PKing. I don't know. Do you think they're really good?
I quite like this design. I really like that. I mean, yes, we had Ancestral come out. I mean, it's been around for a while, and it's just straight up powerful. But this gives you a niche boost in specifically Ancients, which I think is thematic for next. And if they're too afraid or not willing to release Torva right now, which is the melee armor upgrade to Bandos, then I think this is a pretty happy second thing. I wouldn't have wanted something that's just better than Ancestral. That's pretty stupid. These niche upgrades are really cool. I think this could have a lot of applications. So wherever you're using blood spells, this is going to be great. So Inferno,
True.
Where else?
Will it full on replace Ancestrals?
God Wars Dungeon. No, it is going to replace it if you can afford it at certain areas in the game. So anywhere where you're just using a trident, it's not going to be better. But anywhere that you're using specifically ancient magics, it's going to be great. So yeah, God Wars Dungeon, anywhere you need to keep your health high, the extra damage is going to be great for Blood Barrage.
Yeah, Blood Barrage will be nice. The ice
it's good for bursting tasks if you're doing that still.
Yeah, true. That's not too bad.
It's going to be good in PvP. It's going to be strong.
I wish smoke and shadow spells were more useful with this set. Like I don't know if anyone would still use them. Maybe shadow spells if you really want to drain somebody's. Well, I don't know. Maybe it makes it a better like Dragon Warhammer almost, because you can drain their defense.
I do think they're gonna find a home. I think that's for sure. And of course they're not going to be nearly as powerful as maybe the melee set would have been. But yeah, I do think it's a nice little design that they're adding niche upgrades to already best in slot items we have. So they're still going to be sought after for people that are doing certain content. They'll be quite good at Theater of Blood, because there's a lot of freezing rolls there, and it'll be nice to have the extra damage bonus on the top and the bottom, even if you don't bring the hat everywhere.
Interesting. Yeah.
For the additional bonuses on each of the spells is kind of the one where you won't always have the opportunity to bring those. But I do think it's going to find a home quite easily, actually.
Yeah,
just like Inquisitors found a home as well, right? With like anything with Crush, we thought like, really, do we need this armor? It's like the same as Bandos, but it's found its home. If you're wealthy enough to own Inquisitors, you will use it quite a lot. So yeah, it's cool. It's a good set. Not everyone's going to be able to afford it, obviously.
Yeah,
but it'll make more other sets like more affordable, which will be
cool.
Nice.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Yeah. Some of it's expensive.
I mean, these Ranger gloves are going to be going for like huge money on early release.
Oh fuck! I mean, yeah.
Like I think if you get a, I don't know. Like really, it's hard to estimate the other ones, but it's very obvious that those are going to be sought after as a best in slot for the most powerful style in the game.
Oh yeah. Especially before like Raids 3 releases, right? I think that's even going to cause it to kind of.
Oh yeah, and I mean, just think about how good it is with the blowpipe specifically for any content where the blowpipe is still strong. They're just going to be fantastic, and everyone would want a pair. So of course they're going to be expensive, unless the drop rate is low and they become like ferocious gloves. But I don't think it's going to be. This boss will be farmed in the same fashion that Hydra is, simply because it's not a money printing machine.
Yeah. Next one is Nihil Shards. So these will be dropped by all foes within the ancient prison, but also including necks. They can be used to charge the Zerite bow, or you can crush them to make Nihil Dust, which will be a secondary ingredient for a new ancient brew potion. You'll combine it with a dwarf weed potion, which will require 85 herbler to make, give you 190 herbal experience. When drunk, the concoction boosts magic by 5% +2 and restores prayer by 10% +2, with the ability to boost up to 5% over the player's base prayer level. However, it also drains attack, strength, and defense by 10% +2. So think before you drink.
I don't know where I'd use them, but I like adding more potions to the game. I think it's sweet.
Yeah, and I like the idea of like the brews, right? We have like Zamorak brews, which aren't too useful, but they're in the game. Sarah brews, very useful, and now we have ancient brews. So I like the idea of it, where it kind of boosts. They tend to boost either your HP or your prayer, and sometimes in like an offensive or I guess defensive stat, like attack, defense, range. but that drains everything else. So I like how it has that other side of it. But yeah, not totally sure exactly where this would be used, but yeah, it seems cool. Next is the blood essence. So a player creates a blood rune with an activated blood essence in their inventory. They have a chance to create additional blood rune at a rate of 1,000 additional blood runes per additional blood runes per essence. This will result in slightly fewer experience per hour because the blood essence will take up inventory slots that you'd otherwise be using for the dark essence, but you will get more runes per hour. So it is a trade-off.
Hell yeah.
That sounds great for the irons out
give
there.
Give me that blood runes. I like this a lot. So if you're there to make money and just chill for a bit, then yes, you'd probably be using this. I think it's fantastic. Cool idea.
When I first read this, I thought it was going to be similar to the what is it, Dariac? Is it Dariac? I thought it was going to be like another consumable, but I wonder if it's something that it has to be charged.
You're talking about the Dayalt essence?
Yeah, Dayalt. That's what I was thinking of. I thought
Dariac.
What's Dariac?
I don't know. Yeah, it's like you trying to say Darrock when you were a kid. Dariac.
I used to say D-Harrock because I had a friend who called it that.
Of course you did.
Yeah, a friend called it D-Harrock, and he called peeking. So I used to call it peeking because he called it peeking.
Oh, I'm peeking. Yeah, when he's just dropping combos on people. Yeah, there you go. That's pretty funny. This I'm not really sure how it's gonna work. I don't quite fully understand the wording. Maybe I'm just tired and I've had a really long week, but it's sweet. I really love this idea to add you get a little bit less experience, but you can just hit the jackpot and get like 1,000 extra blood runes. Very cool. And something I would 100% use because I am hard up for blood runes. Ironmen typically always are in the end game, unless they don't do a shit ton of content. And mains are always hard up for blood runes because I shouldn't say all mains are, but the economy always needs blood runes because of how much scythes and Sanguinesti staff, specifically the scythe, uses the bloods, as well as like the importance of barrage spells for a lot of bossing. So yeah, I like this a lot.
Yeah, it's cool. I don't see. I don't think. I wonder how it'll work if it there, because it says that there's a chance, and I wonder what the chance is, and if it's a chance to get because every dark essence when you crush it gives you 4 blood runes. So I wonder if this will roll on every single one of those shards. So that if you got 100%, it would
have to be a significant amount of bloods to make it worth it, right?
I think so, unless it's just for the long run, unless you're there just you're not in a rush to get experience, so you bring this along, and then every chance every time you make your blood runes, there's a 50% chance you'll make between 1 and 100 and 128 extra blood runes until this blood essence runs out of charges. Yeah,
I'm not quite sure how it's going to work, but either way, cool that they're adding a skilling item in through Nex.
Yeah, and it's fitting with it being bloods. Mm-hmm. Next is the ecumenical key shards. So gather 50 of these for 1 key. Please note that you can't convert the shards to a key if you already have a cap on keys. So it looks like this might be an additional way to get your ecumenical keys without having to go to the Wildy God Wars dungeon.
Yeah, it's pretty cool because it's going to be packed in that dungeon when Nex comes out. Yeah, get your keys early, because there's going to be people out there skull tricking and everything.
Oh, true. True.
Yeah, I've already people tried to skull trick me there a few times.
That's brutal.
Yeah, usually it's quite chill now, but yeah, if you're getting ready for next, I like this idea because getting ecumenical keys sucked. And I heard in RS3, the way you have to have a 2-tier system, and there was a bank before next, they really don't like that.
Yeah, you have to get a key from boss or something, then charge it.
Yeah, it seemed very cumbersome, so I think they're trying to avoid that because God Wars Dungeon is already cumbersome as is.
Mm-hmm.
No one likes getting kill count, so having this system where you can, the longer you spend it next, the more times you're going to be able to come back in, or the easier it's going to be to get back in, is nice.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty neat. And finally, the last reward is the Ancient Ceremonial Robe set. And every foe, including Nex. Every foe except for Nex has a chance of dropping this piece of this armor set or robe set. It consists of mask, top, legs, gloves, and boots, and they'll have the same stats as monk robes. But really, it looks to me like it's just a cosmetic or something for the collection log, because it says, note that wearing them no longer allows players to bypass the essence count required to take on Nex yourself. So I guess when this originally came out, you could wear this instead of having to get the kill count to go in to see Nex. So now you actually... So I'm curious to see what the ancient ceremonial robes will do, or if they're just like purely cosmetic.
Pure fashion.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Kind of cool though. Hopefully they look good.
Yeah. That being said, all the pieces, all that gear, including from Raids 3, the Tomb of Amascut.
He's done
it. Let's cheer. It is all open in the beta worlds for you to try out. That's neat.
Yep. Also, if you're going to do the Inferno, get your ass into the beta worlds and try triple jads, because you have an Inferno cape, so you can do singles, doubles, and then you can try triples.
Cool.
Was super helpful for me, has probably saved me a lot of time, because I haven't struggled with this triple jads as much as I would have if I didn't get in there and test.
Yeah, they used to be pretty brutal, like not letting people try the Inferno, because so...
Yeah, they used to be like really gatekeepy about it, but it's less so now. Honestly, like even if you're like super great at triple jads, the real hard work of Inferno is the waves and then the mental. Those are the two things. So
yeah, fair enough.
But you may as well get it out of the way and give it a go to see if it's something you're interested in the future.
Cool. Yeah.
Yep.
Just try out. Yeah, the beta worlds are always fun when they come in and go PvP and just screw around.
You can also, I realized that how the people like have a Zuck pet on the beta world.
Yeah.
I first, and I think a lot of people assumed that someone had done a run and gotten the pet with the Inferno.
Mm-hmm.
But you can just grab a shit ton of Inferno capes and go and trade in for the pet if you really want to do it. So that'd be pretty funny.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Or I guess Jad as well.
That's less cool. I think you brought it up a few weeks ago, and I was like, man, that's so badass.
Yeah. I had thought someone had done a run and been like, damn, well, they got the pet. But then I realized, it's like, wait, you can just trade in capes until you get it.
Like, I didn't do anything. But yeah, so yeah, it's funny. I'm glad you mentioned Inferno there, the last piece, because one thing I wanted to mention with it's funny, we're coming full circle. RuneScape 3 announced this week that they are coming out with their next addition to the Tazar caves. They're adding Zuck. They're adding the Inferno to RuneScape 3. So we're getting Nex. They're getting Zuck. We're doing a little trade-off, it looks like. All right. So the final piece of news, and everyone is loving this. They announced yesterday, actually, on the 20th, that unfortunately, Leagues 3, the Shattered Relics, will be delayed until January 2022. Originally, it was going to launch on the 3rd. So it was going to launch almost a week from now, a week and a half. And it's going to run for 6 weeks, and from November till mid-December. They are now pushing it back to January 19th, 2022. And they mentioned that they mentioned it because they released Group Iron Man too close to the league's date, so they are now delaying it, and people are upset. A lot of people are throwing tantrums on Twitter and stuff. A week and a half seems like very short notice to.
Wait, can we restart this section, Dills? I'm fucked right now. Did we just say that Twisted Leagues is pushed back until January?
Shattered Leagues.
There's no fucking way they did that.
Yeah.
I didn't hear this news.
No way.
What? They pushed it back 3 fucking months?
Yeah,
that's outrageous, dude. I don't even play Leagues. That's crazy. That's insane. People book off work for that.
Yeah. So it's, okay. So they're yeah.
Okay, we're on the same page now.
We're on the same page.
Dills.
So yeah, in a week and a half, it's going to launch, and they decided to push everything back till January 19th, because they just thought that they basically said everyone's having so much fun with Group Iron Man, we don't want to release League so close to it. Which,
man.
I mean, from a marketing standpoint, I think that makes sense. But the part that I'm like, this is crazy, is that a week and a half until it's about to launch, then they come out and say, yeah, we're going to push it back by a few months.
That is deeply disappointing. Yeah. I mean, it does, like, you're right, it does make sense for them to like milk Group Ironman, but if they knew it was going to be this successful, why didn't they just hold off leagues until later? But I guess they wanted us to be, not quit in the summer before anything dropped.
I'm surprised.
Man. That's crazy. I really can't believe that. I would have expected a few weeks. That would have been reasonable. But January, that is a long wait.
January 19th. Yeah, it's
that is a long wait.
Yeah, they're pushing it back quite a bit. They said everything was, guys, trust us, everything is ready to go.
Wait, so that means Next is coming out in like the spring?
No, so now this is where it doesn't make sense. This is where they're playing some juggling game. Because we're gonna have the same problem in January. So January 19th, Leagues 3, Shattered Relics is gonna launch. Next is coming out January 5th. So like a week and a half.
It's coming out before?
Yeah, like a week and a half before.
This timeline is really strange. I was under the impression that, yeah, we're going to get leagues on November 5th, right? And then we were going to get Next like maybe 3 or 4 weeks later.
Yeah, that's the way they made it sound, was it was going to come in 2021. I was like, wow, that's so surprising. I kind of didn't believe it, and I guess rightfully so.
I mean, I don't mind it being pushed back to January, but leagues being pushed back, that is, and I don't even play leagues.
Yeah.
That sucks.
It's crazy.
Holy, man. So nothing for the next few months. Brutal. I feel for those people. Like, a lot of people genuinely take off work to like, because you bank your hours until the end of the year, right? Some companies, and you've got like 15 days and you haven't been sick all year. You've been grinding. And like, you know what? It's November. Take a week off, play some RuneScape.
Yeah. And the first week is exciting.
To take it off for leagues. That's awesome. And now that's brutal, man.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Yeah. Very short notice. And like, I think originally having the plan to launch Shattered Relics, like that was probably a mistake from the get-go. I'm surprised it took them this long to actually delay it, but they did.
Yeah, it's a bit of a slap in the face to the players, though.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
I mean, it's still going to be cool when it comes out, but that's I don't like that one. Next, I'm not so upset about. If it's coming out in January. Yeah,
January 5th, which is so, again, this is close to Shattered Relics. So I wonder if it's going to be the same issue, or
it's still 3 months away for both of them, basically.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll be doing, I got a little bit longer to get my Inferno cape than I thought.
Yeah, exactly. Then Raids 3 in the summer. It's just crazy. I think I was talking beforehand, like, I got a baby planned to come out in between Next and Shattered Relics. That's how that's how my timeline is. It's based off on RuneScape updates. So yeah, the baby's gonna be born in between Next and Shattered Relics. And then I had people tell me, I was like, because I thought Raids was coming out in January. Oh man, I won't be able to play Raids because it's gonna be a newborn. And people are like, you know what? They sleep a lot, so I think that's a good time for it to come out. That's great. But now that it's coming out, it's gonna be in its prime. It's gonna be like breaking shit, and it's gonna be like telling me what to do, and it's probably swearing at me, and you know what I mean.
That's brutal, man. Like, honestly, Raids coming out in January was ambitious, and I had a feeling it was going to be the spring, and I would have been fine with a little delay on that one.
Well, the problem was it was the summer summit, and they said we're going to announce the next 6 months instead of doing a full year. We're just going to announce 6 months worth of updates.
They had a lot of heat on them at the time. Remember that?
Yeah.
I'm sympathizing with the J mods here because they're just grinding, right? It's not their decision.
You can tell. Someone made an interesting post on Reddit where like you look at we're looking at the Tomb of Amascut, and you can see at the very bottom it says all the mods who worked on it: Mod Arcane, Archie, Argo, Ash, Aiza, Banjo, Boko. It goes through all of them, and then you look at the announcement to delay Shattered Relics. You look at the very bottom; it just is the old school team. That's usually when you can tell corporate. Nobody wants to personally put.
Yeah, they've stepped in. I mean, they don't get me wrong, they made tons of money from Group Ironman, so this is pretty clear that they're just trying to milk that.
Yeah, that's
the
unfortunate.
other two I'm not so mad about. Like that's to be expected. But yeah, shattered leagues. That is disappointing.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Oh
Nothing
boy.
we can do about it right now.
That's the way she is. And but yeah, we'll move on to the last piece of updates, which is they are bringing some more RuneLite features to the base client on Steam to test it out, and it's gonna be coming to mobile eventually. And they're kind of showing us here, and it looks very similar to RuneLite, where it has a sidebar that shows your experience tracked with little progress bars. They're gonna have a woodcut and mining helper, which will basically tell you when the ore is respawning, which is interesting. And same with the tree, when the tree will respawn. They'll be adding like an info box that will be telling you your Slayer task, how many more you have to kill, blah, 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 blah. You'll have a logout notifier that will pop up when you have 30 seconds until you're logged out. And they're going to be adding a highlighter, basically, when you want to highlight specific monsters or objects, just like RuneLite. It's coming into the base game, so it's pretty interesting. And finally, it's spooky season. It's Halloween, so we have the Halloween event. They say, what is that? A disturbance near Edgeville? A protest in Varrock? The monks are out in force. Oziak is flexing his cash. An old lady in a rocking chair wants an adventure. Death thinks he is the spookiest. Trees need climbing. Brother Jared needs to drink less wine. What does it all mean? Boom, go figure out in this year's Halloween mystery. And I've heard good things about this because it was brought to us by a new JMod, I believe, Mod Havoc and Mod Peppers. And Mod Havoc says here, hey guys, I joined the team a few months ago, and this is my first project going out into the wild. Scary, but it is Halloween, so I suppose that's par for the course. It's been great fun making it. I've learned a lot and met a lot of great people on the team. Working on RuneScape and now old school is a little dream I've always had in the back of my mind, but it was always just that. Little, wouldn't that be cool thought? Yet here I am. It still hasn't quite sunk in, but I think it will do once the event goes live. I hope you guys enjoy it. Here are some fun rewards, but I don't want to give anything away about them. You'll have to go find them yourselves. Incredibly honored to be creating content for the game, and that it has played such a huge part of my life, and I'm looking forward to making lots of cool stuff for you all in the future. Happy Halloween. So that's pretty weird. I've heard it's a pretty good event, and I'm not even quite sure what the reward is yet. Should we spoil it for ourselves?
Sure, yeah, go for it. I haven't done it either. I typically do them after the event. Are you a fan of Halloween, like real life?
I don't really do anything. Probably not going to do anything this year.
Fair enough.
I mean, I had fun dressing up in the past. I think last year for work, I dressed up as a mime for fun.
That is a good one.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I can take it or leave it, I guess. I like Christmas is a good one. I like Christmas a lot.
Fair enough. Yeah, I love Christmas, but I'm a huge fan of Halloween too. So
you go all out. Do you like hand out treats and stuff?
Not as my sister is like really intense about Halloween. She's being Darth Maul this year. And she has like the double-ended lightsaber. It's sick.
No way.
And she's got horns and she does crazy face makeup. That's her thing.
That's cool.
I used to go to like Halloween parties though. I love dressing up and going out. But recently, obviously pandemic slowed it down. But because I'm a teacher, Halloween is huge. It's a really big thing at school. And it's a lot of fun to get. The kids love getting dressed up, man. They love pajama day and everything. So yeah, it's nice to go all in for sure. I'll have to whip up a costume this year. A mime is a good one, honestly, to have in the back pocket. Though I think I've gone as like some kind of crazy scientist, just done my hair up mad.
That's fun.
And then I've got a lab coat from university that I've got covered and stuff, and I've got some like bottles and whatever, some concoctions. That's a pretty fun one. But yeah, I don't know what we do this year. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, well, time's ticking.
Time is ticking, seriously though. I'm terrible. I'm a little bit late last minute for some stuff.
Yeah, it happens. We run over to the Halloween store or whatever it's called. Yeah. Oh, anyway, speaking of the Halloween rewards, I kind of whipped them up here. So spoiler alert, we will get this year a haunted wine bottle that you can hold, and you can activate it where a ghost will come flying out of the bottle and kind of fly around and then go back into the bottle. Looks pretty neat. And you'll also get an ugly Halloween jumper, which is basically just a jack-o'-lantern shirt. And it looks cool. Looks all right.
Be cool if you could get like an attachment to the Ale of the Gods to turn into a giant wine bottle.
Oh, that'd be sick. Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if you can walk around. Yeah, that's cool. And lastly, it's the saucepan. You can get a pot on your head.
It's pretty cool.
It's funny. Yeah. And you get all the previous rewards. So if you want to get, I think this is where all the different recolors for your skin. They got the purple, the green, all that stuff.
The house one as well, the Deathly Mansion or whatever. It's quite a nice house skin.
Right,
like
right, yeah.
Purple and like wood.
Yeah, get on it. Anyways, I think we went through all of it. It's been crazy week on all fronts. Sounds like for both of us. So I think we pretty much well covered it though. So
yeah. Recharge the batteries this weekend and then we'll be back at it.
Oh, that's right. So let's take a quick break. We'll be back after. All right, we're taking a quick break to head on over to the Grand Exchange where we talk about fun stuff over here. So before we start shilling out on how you can support the show, I like to sweeten everything up by talking about something else instead, usually market related. And one thing that I like, I record these after our recording, and sometimes we're just going on and on and on and forget to mention something, or something like this week where it was a very off week. I apologize again, we're starting off so sad. These things happen though, I suppose. I guess I wanted to give some context in case I seemed a little bit off this episode. Anywho, these breaks are recorded a little bit afterwards, so I had some time to recharge, so to speak. But guys, so the reason I'm saying this is, what the hell is going on with the Bulwark? Oh my god. It has gone, it was like around 2 mil or so. It was, let's see, it was fairly cheap, sitting around, 5 mil or so, whatever. Especially when they talked about the nerf that was going to be coming in. It dropped down, people would say it's dead. And then they added this whole little buff to it to give it a melee combat component, right? Where they made it so it goes off your attack bonus in a way. And people started finding its uses in Inferno and other pieces of content. And it's insane. It's caused the Bulwark to jump up. It was selling for over 15 mil at one point. It's crazy. Oh my god. That's so funny. This game. Oh, I was thinking about it earlier. This game is amazing because you could be just into PV. This game has so much going for it. You can just watch these market prices jump up and down. I'm someone who has played a bunch of other MMOs back in the day, and I don't know. Other games had similar things, but it was never the same. Something about OSRS, the way the market on items are, is just, it's something else. It is something. I've played games like Maple Story and World of Warcraft where you could do some free trade, but it was different. A different game. So that's insane. The Bulwark. Anyone who bought it when it was cheap, oh boy, probably made a killing. But it's cool. It's cool. It found kind of some new uses. Anyways, I just wanted to sprinkle that bad boy in there. Each episode is brought to you by our supporters on Patreon and buymeacoffee.com. You guys help keep the lights on over at Wild headquarters. Now you allow us to do fun events in the CC, and you allow us to help cover some of the monthly costs from doing this podcast. So it's all greatly appreciated. So if you'd like to support the show, you can head on over to patreon.com/TheWildernessPodcast. You get some bonus content and some other goodies if that's something that you're into. And if not, just keep on enjoying the show. So I want to thank Aiden Bevan, Alex Vertichizzi, and Colorize for joining the Patreon this week. Thank you guys so much for your support. It means a lot. And at Colorize, I know you've been listening to the podcast for a very long time. Oh man. We've been chatting in the friends chat, now clan chat for years now. It's crazy. Anywho, guys, thank you so much for signing up to the Patreon this week. And of course, this episode's shout out is Burt Macklin, Johnny Karate himself. I love that show. Me and the missus right now are rewatching The Office. We're in season 5, and I've decided that once we're done The Office, we are going to pivot on over to Parks and Recreation, a show that is I would consider on par, and the later seasons are I think they're way better than The Office later seasons for sure. You know, when Michael Scott leaves the show, it kind of goes downhill, but Parks and Recreation is great. Even their last season, some people didn't like it. I really liked it. I thought it was a cool way of doing it. Anywho, so great name, great show. And of course, we do a shout out to all of our top tier supporters every single week. So thank you to Gentinu, Spleemo, Dreadful Monkeys, Sejuan, Strosity, Mallard, Twisted Soul, J Blaz, Z Space. Thank you guys so much for the support. It truly means a lot. I need to go back and rename some of the tiers because we went with the old Mafia themed, and it's kind of a mouthful to say. And it's funny the first couple of times. It stops being funny real quick. Anywho, if Patreon's not your thing, but you still want to support the show, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/dills instead, where you can make a one-time donation. So thank you to What's a Matter and MF Hugh for keeping me caffeinated this week. Really, really appreciate it. All right, let's get to the end of the show. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you're listening up to this point, thank you for listening. Yeah, this was just a bit of an off week for me, but you know, it happens. It's this podcast has been has been a roller coaster. You know, when I think about it, there's been a lot of like crazy ups and downs in my life while I was doing this podcast. You know, a lot of like, I guess, life transitionings, right? I was with my ex for like 7 years, and then we broke up in like 2018, and I remember that was right around RuneFest. I remember recording for that. Anyways, that was a crazy transition, and then I went back to school, and then I'm with my current partner, and we're having a kid together. So it's wow, what a wild ride this podcast is, isn't it? Okay, anyways, enough blabbling. Let's get on to the end of the show. All right, we are back. So, what do we do? We normally just tell you how you guys can come hang out or write into the show. So, TheWildernessPodcast@gmail.com is our email. You can write in and tell us stories, ask us questions, whatever it is, and we'll read them on the air. We have a in-game clan called the Clan Wild, and we have a friends chat called Wild CC. Kind of migrating to the clan. CC, the friends chat is not as used anymore, for obvious reasons. Just the clan is just so much more. It's cooler. It's just so much cooler. We get fun little ranks and stuff. And we have a Discord that you can join. You can find it in the description of this episode, or you will find it on Twitter at TheWildernessRS. And really, Discord is where all the fun stuff happens. Definitely go check it out. I don't think I'm missing anything. I have a twitch.tv/TheDills. But it's been
bring the hardcore back soon.
I will eventually.
Heard some low level chatter that people miss the old hardcore.
Me too, and it's still there. So I gotta boot that bad boy back up, because I was having a lot of fun with it. Anyways, soon I should have some more time to stream. We'll get back into it. Harlow, anything you want to throw out there?
Nope. Come join the Discord.
Boy, there it is. All right. So, do we have a song of the week?
Oh, let's do. Does any ones that are jumping out to you or nah?
Do a Halloween one, unless you have something else.
Yeah, let's do a Halloween one. Did we get a new song this year for the Halloween event? I don't think we did, but if not, we can just fire an old one.
Yeah, it didn't look like we did, so we'll do last year's. It is C minor shanty. So this is a music track that is first unlocked during 2020 Halloween event. It's a remix of the Sea Shanty 2 in C minor, done by Mod Ash himself.
Mod Ash has some absolute bangers.
I know,
some of the best tracks in the game are done by Ash.
Yeah, he's like, What an interesting person. You'll see.
I would love to meet Mod Ash. He seems like a chill dude.
Oh man, RuneFest.
Nerdy
When's
and
it
awkward,
coming?
but I mean, works for Jagex at the end of the day. So
yeah, exactly.
He seems interesting. He's definitely like weirdly sexualized by the community, but he does seem like a pretty chill dude. So
he's handles himself well on Twitter.
And my God, he's got some absolute bangers. He made Coil as well, right? The one at Zolra, which is one of the best tracks in the game. So
I'll like unironically boot it up like on YouTube and just listen to it when I'm driving.
Did he do Inferno as well, which is another one of the best tracks?
Oh boy, let's see.
I'm curious if he did, because that one is incredible as well.
He seems to do the ones that are like very piano based.
Yes.
No, he did not do Inferno.
Damn. That's okay. That one also really good. But yeah, Coil is probably one of the best tracks in the game.
Yeah, it's classic.
That's an old Magpie's favorite as well.
It's good. So yeah, well, I was about to say let's play Coil now. We'll play it later.
No, another time. We've already used it like twice since I came to join the podcast. So,
that's a good one. All right. Well, that about does it for us today. Thanks guys so much for listening. Yeah, and we'll see you on the next one.
Take care, everyone.